One of the most overlooked things in our society today is the concept of sin. Now, by overlooked, I mean, have you ever heard of a high school class on the topic of sin? Does anyone clearly define what it is, where it comes from? We could say, who cares? But really think about it. Bad things happen in the world because of mankind's sin on their fellow humans. A lust-filled woman cheats on her husband and lies about it, and then he kills her and her lover in a rage and makes it look like an accident. This was one sin, coveting, that led to adultery, that led to lies, that led to murder, that led to more lies, and an endless deep hole of bad things. So what is sin? The dictionary definition is an immoral act against a divine law. In its simplest form, it is good things that we corrupt. A glass of wine with a meal is a good, healthy thing. A bottle of wine so that we become obnoxious and do immoral things is bad and bad for our health. Today it seems we glorify and water down sin so it can be sold to the masses. Sex and violence and drug use are moneymakers in Hollywood. Now, one could easily say movies and televisions, while they glorify bad behavior, also show the consequences of that bad behavior. Honest stories of drug users and dealers show the end result is usually death or jail and sometimes disease, while the fun is very short-lived. The extent of people's lives in Hollywood often show a depraved world of debauchery mixed with some hope. The problem and the reason for this video is to highlight the lack of focus and emphasis on sin and its role in the world. If there is one thing we can agree on throughout history, is sin is like a golf ball-sized snowball rolling down the top of a mountain on the verge of an avalanche. At the beginning, Adam and Eve's sin led to Cain and Abel, which led the world to such degradations God needed to cleanse it with a flood. A group of people determined a particular race of people were a threat and put together propaganda condemning them, causing enough hatred to lead to the Holocaust. Today we water down and soften the language on homosexuality and abortion, and that has led to partial birth abortion and the transgender movement, where a man just has to utter the words, "I am a woman," and he must be treated as such. How low can we go? Child pornography was once found to be on an estimated 22 million PCs around the country. Young girls kidnapped at 10 years old and prostituted out their whole lives. When do we reach Sodom and Gomorrah? When do we reach the point where another flood is needed? Now, it is important to look at this from a non-religious perspective. Is it safe and healthy for a man or a woman to have countless different sexual partners throughout their lives? Should the notion of protecting women and children at all costs be a universal moral code regardless of what religion is being practiced? The interesting thing about sin that is often overlooked is how we become desensitized by it. Anyone that has killed people, either by nefarious means or in a war, they will tell you that first is the most difficult, then it becomes easier. People who cheat, the lies become easier, the manipulation, they become skilled at. And where does it all lead? There needs to be more education on sin. What is it? Where will it lead us? And most of all, how do we stop ourselves from sinning? This would open the door to people talking about what they are weak about and dealing with it before it grows into a problem. Our lives are like a garden. If we let a few weeds grow and grow, they will eventually take over. Sin, especially sexual sin, will turn you into a slave. Pornography today is a public health crisis. Opiates are killing and destroying lives, and these things all began as something small and honest. Don't become a slave to sin. Stop it in its tracks with diligence, counseling, and making yourself accountable to Jesus. Ask yourself every day, am I glorifying Him? We all fall short, and it is the measure of our humanity how we reconcile this with God. Don't make any excuses. Be an example to others and own up, and live every day under His light.